Hello everyone, I'm Fisher Online and I'm at the new Scotland Lake. And this video for me is the most important one that I'm going to make on this lake because this next targets is the ones that I go the most for. It's the ones that are the biggest, the most fun, and it's the ones that pays the best and give the best XP. Now with these setups, what you target is the Atlantic salmon, your Arctic char, your brook char. Then we have the new one, the Orkney char. Now this fish here, the Orkney char, that is the prime fish here. This fish, if you catch a large variant like my best one was a 3 kilogram one, that fish paid 370 silver just for one fish. So if you get lucky, it's a red book one, you don't catch many of them. But if you get lucky and you get 3 or 4 large variants of this in your net, you have a net worth over 2000 silver. What you will also catch with these is the new whitefishes that was introduced, the Scottish whitefish and the Bowen whitefish. So this next setups that I'm going to show you is what's going to bring you the most XP and the most money, and I find myself that's the thing I do the most. Now, so we are going to, this video shows you the information for Atlantic salmon, the chars, and also some of the new whitefish you will pick up, and you will also catch the odd trout. Now the first thing is the setups. I use 3 rods. My first rod I use a feeder. Oops, I have the wrong rod on there, it's too light. Sorry for that. Just gonna get the right rod here. This rod I have is too light, I run into trouble with this rod. Now on all this, for all these targets you're going for now, it's best to use the strongest gear you have, because you can pick up big char and big Atlantic salmons, which is like a strong, so you can use your strongest setups. On my first rod I use a 30 kilogram feeder setup, a number 1 hook with salmon roe, and the main target for this rod is the chars, the Arctic char and that Orkney char that gives so much money. That's the main target for this one. They bite on the salmon roe, and you will also pick up a little bit of that new whitefish on the salmon roe. The second rod is even stronger. There I use a 42 kilogram feeder. This rod primarily is going to target Atlantic salmon. It's a size 2 hook, or you can even use a size 3 hook with bait fish. And this setup primarily targets the Atlantic salmon, but you will also pick up some char on the bait fish, and you will also pick up the odd trout, the big trout on the bait fish. Then my third rod is a spinning rod. Now the spinning, you can do one of 2 things. You can either target chars primarily, or you can target the Atlantic salmon primarily. Now the way you do that is basically with the size of your lures. When you want to catch mostly the chars, then I use the 20 gram medium spoons, these guys, the MD Cyclop 20 grams. I use them, then I mostly catch the char, and that's what I always use on my spinning rod, because I want to catch as most of that Orkney char as possible, because the Orkney char pays the best in this lake. If you want to rather target the Atlantic salmons, then you go to your bigger spoons. Then you can go to your big salmon GT spoons, or your very big Raiva, or your very big Raimas. Then you will catch a little bit more Atlantic salmon. Now on the medium size spoon, this 20-gram medium spoon, cyclope, you will also catch Atlantic salmon on that one as well. You won't just catch char, you will catch the salmons as well. You will just catch a little bit less salmon. Okay, another thing that works very well that you can also use is these VOP shads, the 12-gram VOP shads. They also work very, very well. So that is basically the 3-rod setup and everything you will catch for them. Now where you fish them, let's put our salmon rod in here. Now where you fish for these targets is mostly in the open waters, and I have my best luck on all these species in this mid-depth, all these medium depth places all around the map. That is where I have my best luck with all of these species. Another important thing I want to mention, I've seen on all of these, the salmons, the chars, they move around a lot more in this lake than fish in other lakes move around. I will come in one day, sit here maybe for example, and I catch a bunch of fish. The next day I come there and it's completely dead there. Then I have to move around. Even sometimes in the same session, you will sit at a spot, you will catch lekker, and suddenly the spot dies. That is something I have found on this lake. You have to move around. If you're at a spot for a while, not getting a bite, move around. Move to all these, move to another place, all these medium depth. In the very deep holes, I haven't had much luck on any of these species. It's always this medium depth that I catch the most of the chars and the salmons on. So be aware of that. I haven't found just one good place where you can catch them. They really move around a lot. Even in the same, not just day to day, but even in the same session, you struggle to catch, you find a spot, you catch a lot of fish, and 30 minutes later you catch nothing anymore, then you move around. That is something that I saw on this lake. Another thing I want to mention, we got a bite on the salmon road. Something else I want to mention, you will catch most of your fish on the spinning. The feeders do catch fish, but not as much as on the spinning. So you will notice that. And other baits you can also use. These baits is not set in stone, don't just use that, because bait preferences change as well. Other baits that also work here is, for example, your crawtails. You can use some crawtails as well, and also fish pieces also works. Let's see what we got here. I hope it's an Orkney char. Barbeau. You will also catch these barbeaus on the salmon road. I don't like it when I get a barbeau because they're not worth much. So yeah, that is all the main information for the main money and XP fish here, and also the most fun fish. The big chars and the big salmons, lots of fun to catch. By the time you get here, you already fish places like Finland and Iran, so you know salmon. Salmon is a lot of fun to catch. So currently on my spinning rod, I have the Cyclope 20-gram medium spoon on, because that's what I always use on my spinning, because I want to catch those Orkney chars. The Orkney chars, it's a small char species, so the medium spoon is more successful on it, and it's the best money, really good money. The average money on the Orkney char is about 100 silver per kilogram. a little bit more than that. If you get a 3 kilogram fish, it will give you more than 300 silver. At this stage, anyway. We don't know if that's going to get nerfed and changed, but at this stage, your Orkney Char is a really top money maker at Scotland. And something that I've seen, that I've seen in this lake, you can quickly see when a spot is dead or not, especially on the spinning. If I made about 5 casts and didn't catch something I move, then I know that spot is dead and I go and try another spot. Because once you're you will also catch these little reapers now and then on the Salmon road. Also a red fish, but not really not really a big money or anything fish. But like I was saying, especially on the spinning, if you did 5 to 10 casts without a bite, then the spot is dead, then you move. The active spots on the spinning, you catch a lot of fish on the spinning on active spots. That is always my barometer, is on the spinning. If my spinning is not catching anything, then I move. We've got an Atlantic salmon on that whitefish of ours. Oh no, it's a river trout. I thought it was a salmon. You definitely will catch the odd trouts on the bait fish. You will even catch some of that new Ferox trout that you will pick up on the bait fish. Just want to throw a couple of more casts on the spool. See if I may be lucky to pick up a char. Then I will end the video there, because I like to keep my videos short. I don't like to make it long, drawn out videos. But these setups, these targets, guys, that's what's gonna be your big XP and money maker. You'll just need to, most of the time, you'll just need to move around a bit until you find the active spots where the fish are, and then you can start bringing them in. So I can already see now the spot is not active. Not very active, so I will have to move. Something I would have loved to show you guys the Orkney Char in the video, but they are scarce. You don't catch many of them, and I'm not gonna make an hour-long video until I'm lucky to catch one. Here's the good Char. make about 2 or 3 more casts just to see if I may be lucky to catch an Orkney char. But on that cyclop medium spoon and on the salmon roe, you definitely will catch the Orkneys. It sometimes takes a while. The spot is starting to liven up now. I'm glad. The other thing is these species and setups is best during the day. I haven't had much luck at night on any of these species. The salmons and the chars, not really active at night. There's like a large archy char. Right, about 2 more casts. I average on one net of fishing with these setups, I average mostly about 3 Orkney chars. But if those 3, sometimes all 3 of them is large bearings, then it's 1,000 silver just for that 3 fish. So you're not going to catch the one Orkney char after another, but when you do catch them, it's really worth it. One on the spoon as well. Now the spot is starting to liven up nicely now. It's usually here from around 9 o'clock in the morning when these species start to wake up lekker. There's a Harry char. That's another one of the new species. I'm glad I caught this one. I forgot to mention this guy. The Harry char, also a beautiful fish, beautiful coloring. A bit of a mean looking face. But this one is also really good XP and really good money. And it's one of the new chars that was introduced here in the game in Scotland. The Harry char together with the Orkney char. Really glad I caught that one. I completely forgot to mention the Harry char. Catching these specific 4 or 5 species, you can make quite a lot of XP and quite a lot of money. There's another good char. You will quite probably find yourself doing this the most, targeting these specific species the most, because of the great rewards in XP and money that they give. final cast with the spoon, and I'm going to end the video just to see if I can maybe get an Orkney. I don't want to waste too much of your time trying to get one specific fish. On the medium spoon you will also sometimes pick up some of the trout. It doesn't happen often, but you will get some trout also on them sometimes. And then we got a large Atlantic salmon, very good XP and money as well. Atlantic salmon is no slouch in that area. It's really good to catch them as well. Okay guys, that's it for this video. So to sum up, what you catch with these setups, it's your Atlantic salmon that you will catch your Arctic chars, you will catch your brook chars, you will catch your hardy chars, you will catch the Orkney chars, you will catch some river trout, and you will catch a little bit of this whitefish, Scottish whitefish and Taiwan whitefish in between. And all of these species, good XP, good money. It's the best money makers for sure in this lake. And just the setups again to summarize: one feeder rod with a hook 1 and salmon roe. You can also use crawtails. One very strong feeder rod, size 2 hook with baitfish. One very strong spinning rod with the ND Cyclope medium spoons. You can use the M1, M2 or M3. All three of them work. And if you want to catch, this one specifically is mostly then char. And if you want to catch more of the big Atlantic salmon, then you just go to bigger spoons. The bigger spoons, biggest lures, even the vibro tail 120mm shads on GK2, and then you will catch more Atlantic salmon. That's it for this one, guys, and I will see you again. Cheers.